a debrief of the hands-on component of today's event. So if you can go to tinyurl.com/CTFest 2022 slides. So it'll actually give you access to the entire slides that I've been showing you, so you can have a copy of it. But it's also where we're going to debrief. Okay, so it can be edited by everybody here. So the three questions I want you to discuss with your neighbors, so people next to you, people behind you, and are these three questions. And then you're going to actually type in your answers on the next three slides. Okay, so yeah, let me just put the URL there again for you so you can access it. So it's tinyurl.com/CTFest 2022 slides. Okay, so take a moment to have that open on your computer. Okay, so again, you should be able to edit it as well, but I did make a backup copy, so it's fine. All right. So again, these are the three questions. When I tell you, you're going to discuss them, and then you will record your responses here on the next three slides. You can see them here. If you need more copies of these like little things, you can stop. Okay, it's because I'm in presenter mode. Okay, great. I see a whole bunch of circles. Okay, so you just click on one and then you can just type your answers. The stars are there. So if you see somebody respond that you agree with, that you're like, yeah, that's what I think too, you can drag the star over to that person's response. Okay, just to indicate that kind of like you're voting, for that response because you agree with it. Okay, so again, I can, feel free to make more copies if you need to, or resize them. Okay, so please go ahead and discuss the three questions and then post your response in the next three slides. All right, so let's take maybe the next 10 minutes to do this, and then I'll wrap up. All right, let's go. Okay, yes, you can talk to each other about these three questions and then post your response. Okay, thank you for those of you who are posting. But you can talk about it first if you like. Okay, some of this might need to spill over. Okay, I might move some of it to the next page. So we're running out of space in this one, so okay, let's add some more on this space. Okay, so if you run out of space on this slide, you can go to the next one. Same question. Yeah, there's a lot of people writing here, so if you need to, go to the next page. Same question. These stars are getting a bit hidden here. Drag them out here. Yeah, feel free to move them to the next page if you're running out of space. Okay, 4 more minutes, and then I'm gonna close up. Okay, thank you for putting in the stars as well. It's really nice to see which comments are agreed upon. Okay, 1 more minute, then we'll move on. But of course, you can always continue to put your thoughts in here later on. All right. Thank you so much for your feedback. Like I said, we don't have time to kind of debrief as a whole group, which is why I created these slides so at least we can hear some of your thoughts. Okay, so I'm gonna actually, and of course you have access now to the entire slide deck, right? So, so that will be a useful resource to help you to remember what what the activity was. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap up here. So, and like I said, today you only got a little taste, right, of this whole platform. Okay, so so really it's just the very beginning. The tasks do get more complex, more interesting as the students advance, right? And here are some of the features, again, of the Academy. I'll let you read this on your own later. But I do want to show you a little bit of the teacher portal, because this might be, useful, right? You have a way of tracking, student progress. Students can submit their creative tasks. Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. The entire platform is free, right? Because it was created by the university with their funding. And so you can request a teacher account. So it needs to be approved because, they want to make sure only teachers, right, have access for the teacher content, right, which includes like solutions and extra, support and things like that. But there are two kinds of account. There's a mentor account, which is what I have because I'm not a school teacher, okay? But all of you will be eligible for a full teacher account, and that will give you access to all the courses that we've already discussed earlier, okay? So right now for the mentor account, which is what I have, I only have access to the Hour of Code and CS0, okay? So again, that's the very, very intro course. Okay, moving on. Sorry, where am I? Right here, okay. So this is an example of actually one of the student projects, just to give you a sense of, what is possible. So here I'm just clicking on, and also, yeah, all the student projects are, you can share the link to your project. Okay, so that's also might be interesting. You can basically create a gallery of the students' project. So here's an example of one of the projects. Okay, I don't have time to show these videos, but here are a couple of YouTube videos that showcases some of the students' projects that have gone through the course. Okay, so feel free to take a look at it, on your own later on if you're interested in seeing the kinds of creative tasks. Yeah, so as you're working through the Hour of Code, you may have noticed at the end of each of the sections was a creative task. Okay, so that gives students an opportunity to use what they've learned to create their own project. Okay, so let me just show you a bit about how this works. So so for this, okay, so this is an example of the CS0 creative tasks. There are 4 units. So at the end of each unit, students can submit a project that uses the concepts that they learned in that unit. And then there's a rubric that is used to evaluate their projects. And there's also some, kind of worksheets to guide the development of their projects. So they have to plan it out, right? They have to think through like, what it's going to look like, what their plan is. They have to reflect on their code, right? Think about, okay, what are some of the challenges I face? What are the concepts that I used? And so all of this will go into, kind of what will accompany their submission, okay? So that is the creative tasks. Let me go back here real quick. All right. Okay, so I want to talk about CTFest for students. Okay, so today's event was CTFest for teachers. Okay, this is our 3rd one in the last 4 years, I think. So we're planning another one for students. Our target audience is lower secondary students at the post-exam period this year. Okay, so there'll be sometime late October. Okay, so it will be a creative task competition. So I just show you a little bit about what the rubric looks like, and students will have access to the CS0 course content. Right, so those are the 4 units that I showed you in the creative task, right? So these are all the concepts that they will be, kind of have access to. I think sort of what I'm picturing in my head is that since each of these units can has a creative task associated with it, we can kind of like put it into tiers, right? So that, even like students who maybe don't have much time, or maybe they to kind of get through, they don't have time to do the entire course, but even they get through like the first unit, right? They do all the exercises that go with that. They learn the concepts. They can still submit a creative task, just showing what they've learned in that unit. Okay, but as students progress, if they get to unit 4, they can submit a more sophisticated,
Right. Never give that invitation. So we never go home. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I need to plug that in. HDMI.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, then I will work. Actually, we have mic here, right? Were you using the mic?
no, I wasn't.
Yeah, there's a mic here.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yes, there is. It works. It works.
Okay.
I teach from this room quite quite often, so it always works. Ah, it works. Yeah. Okay. You can put it on here. You'll try it. Ouch. It's challenging my fingers. Oh, it doesn't fit because the other half of the thing is gone. I think this one have gone through. This mic has gone through student abuse. So all the covering and everything has disappeared except the part that make it work. Okay. Oh, okay. I will try it first without mic and okay. Can you see? I hope it cannot decide. So I think my presentation is making it very angry. So I see, it's very angry at me.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I want to welcome you to CTFest 2019. Well, that was 3 years ago. It was, but okay, this was pre-COVID, and okay, and so 2020 we couldn't meet. 21, which was last year, we met up. I think 2019, I still remember we were doing it in was it at Maple Tree? Okay, yeah, we did that at Maple Tree. Okay, and I had this little hands-on activity that okay, I did. Okay, so okay, all right, okay, all right. And last year, this was what we did. I think we had CTFest 2021, and I was involved. Okay. Indirectly because we had a panel session. I was doing the panel session with Wendy. Okay. And I still remember she also did that one where you put the little stars and so on. Okay. All right. So she's much more savvy with all these things than I am. So okay, I will not be able to do that. Okay. All right. But in there, we talk about a very important topic, and I don't know whether it's still relevant or not. My dream is that that topic will not be relevant anymore. In other words, okay, what support and resources teachers will need to promote CT education in Singapore? If we don't need to do this, that means that CT is already all well entrenched and so on. That would be my dream. Okay, all right. But I think today we still need, I think computing teachers, you need help with resources. No need already. You are all okay, super good. You have everything you need. Okay, but I think that one. Okay, all right. So, so I want to welcome you to 2022, and I first apologize. Okay, that somehow to me the topic is still relevant. Okay, as I start talking to teachers and go around, so the topic is still relevant. Okay, and so what you're going to see are some old slides, because from what I hear from Mr. Gee, there are many teachers here who were not at CTFest 2021, right? How many of you were not in 2021 CTFest? If I can see a quick show of hands. Wow, okay, quite a few. So I was going to say that I will apologize and only show you 2 slides today. But then when I found out that okay, it's still relevant, I will rehash some of the old one and try to go very fast. Okay, all right. Okay, but I think that the issue is relevant. But I've added in one more spin. The only new thing in this slide is this one. Okay, all right. And I want to say that we need master teachers in computing. Okay, in all the other disciplines, the MOE have teachers. We have master teachers. Who are master teachers, right? Okay. I got to know this very late because as you're going to see very soon. Okay. I'm not from MOE. I don't know the MOE system very, very well. I know some of it. Okay. All right. But about a few months before CTFest 2019, I was asked to give a workshop to math teachers trying to do unplugged activities. These unplugged activities, they do them with the hand, and we don't tell them what you're learning. We just play a game, and in so doing, they learn new things. And after that, when we go and reflect with them, did you know that this is this math you're doing? Oh, then they say, oh yeah, it didn't occur to me, and so on. So these unplugged activities are really nice. One of the teachers in that group got to know, attended one of my workshop in some other context, and then recommended that to teacher Miss Leong, okay, from Mr. Gee, when I need him, he's not here. He's there. Okay, all right. Okay. Miss Leong, you said was formerly from Dunman High. Is it? Was teacher at Dunman High, right? Math teacher, yes, math teacher. Okay, all right. But she's a master teacher organizing this workshop for other teachers. So I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great if there are computing teachers okay, master computing teachers who are also organizing this for small groups of teachers, okay, workshops and little things that will help them in their regular teaching. Right, so that was what for me. So I look around and I said that there is no master teacher in computing. I checked a little bit with MOE. Okay? So I think we need that for any discipline to move further. We need people to bring up, okay, and people up to speed very quickly. So this is going to be the theme of my talk today. Okay, as I said, this is my personal view. I'm not trained as an educator. That's why I'm not very good. Okay, all right. So anyway, let me just tell you. Okay, last year at CTFest, teacher Aslina came up with this start now, okay, thing, and I thought, okay, it was an apt thing to do. Okay, so my dream wish is that we have many experts. I think these are all good things to, right? I think if you teachers look at this thing, then if we have this situation, this will be very great. Then our computing education is in good hands. Okay? If we have experts who will be able to mentor CP teachers, can develop relevant CP curriculum, evangelize to the principals so that they will bring it into the school, and there's many certified teachers, yes, great teachers, etc. But the situation on the ground, unfortunately, is not quite so rosy, right? The situation on the ground is we still need many, we don't have that many. And that's why the call to have some master teachers to be recognized by MOE as such. So I'm trying to get many of you senior teachers to apply and flood MOE with applications so that they have no choice. But if you send one in, they can always refuse one. If 10, 15 people come and apply, they need to give face and at least grant 2 or 3, right? So that is my strategy. We call this the flooding strategy, right? We flood it with applications, and so they have, well, they can't justify, rejecting all of them when there are some deserving candidates, right? Okay, but if you send in one, they might say, okay. So anyway, that was a joke. Please don't tell this to then they all come after me and shoot me more arrows. I have many arrows on my back already. Okay. So, but we also don't have CS graduates. Okay? But on the other hand, this is all. Am I not able to? I have to make sure that Mr. Gee knows, because I'm supposed to be a tape session. So if I move away, then they may not hear me. Okay. So. Huh? Slides are projected, right? No sound, never mind. Okay. So, but this is a worldwide phenomenon, okay, because of the disparity in the pay and also disparity in this. Okay, they are not going to be. When I visited UK, US, Australia, and so on, it's the same story. They all also say that we don't have many CS grad as computing teachers because of the same reason. So what has happened in most countries is that there are other people, teachers in other disciplines who have moved to computing, just like many of you stand here, right? Okay, all right. So this is, but then, given that, then we need a way to certify them as computing teachers, and for this one, we are ill prepared in Singapore. Okay, I understand the situation on the ground, but we are ill prepared. I'll go back to some slides that talk about what is the situation, for example, in UK. Okay, okay, things like that. Okay, all right. And we don't have rich resources yet for teacher, but I'm glad on the resources for the teachers. I think where's this one? Okay, this one and other folks. Okay, and of course, many others are also doing that, are collecting some of these resources. Okay, and this brings me to this story here. Okay, sometime I think about a week plus ago, Mr. Gee sent out this message onto the computing teachers WhatsApp group. If you're not on that group, quickly get on. Okay, Mr. Gee sends out all kinds of useful stuff, okay, all the time. Okay, all right. The thing that caught my attention, okay, when I saw this thing, in fact, I was going to reply to that WhatsApp chat, but then as usual, when I start typing, I got very long-winded, okay, and then I decided that I will instead do a Facebook post, okay, all right, and the Facebook post is a little tiny to see, okay, but it was really a reflection, okay, of computing education curriculum for K-12, okay, and trying to do this, okay, because 2016 was the year I visited the UK for some other conference, but because I have interest in computational thinking, I talked to two professors, one in KCL, King's College London, and one at Roehampton University. Okay, the KCL professor was Susan Thames, okay, and she is heavily involved with CT curriculum within the London area, also creating curriculum to train teachers, okay, for the training program to be certified as teacher. And the other person at Roehampton University was Mouse Berry, okay, who used to be invited by Singapore as a consultant, okay, to come to talk to MOE. Okay, and these were two people who are heavily involved in CT curriculum. And I attended a conference there at Roehampton. Okay, and in that conference, you will see what I was talking about. Okay, in that conference, I can feel this is 2016. This is very less than 3 years after UK adopted CT for K to 12, okay, wholeheartedly. Okay, but after 2.5 years, teachers were still uncomfortable because they still ask me questions. Okay, how do I teach it? Okay, and I don't know. Okay, whether I'm doing it right and all that. And there's a lot of anxiety. I was in the room listening to the same talk, and the teachers were asking all these questions. Okay, now when that email went out, I saw the video, and the first thing that strikes me was this. Okay, all right, 500 lessons get created, organized into 69 units that is mapped onto the UK CT curriculum for K to 12. In UK, they call it key stage 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Okay, going upwards, okay? Key stage 1, stage 4 will reach A level, okay? All right, so they basically map from primary all the way up to upper secondary, up to GC. Curriculum all mapped up. Yes, okay, all right. And these are all free. Okay, you can pick and choose, and you can sign up as a teacher. Okay, you have access to all of these material, and also every year segmented into years. Year 1, what do you do? Year 2, year 3, year 4. In barely 10 years, less than 10 years of running this, they have this. All it took was to bite the bullet. Sure, there's some early problem. So, so this was that. I remember right after that conference, I was excited. I gave a talk to all the teachers, computing teachers at that time. Mr. P was there. We invited CPDD officers, okay, to come. And right after that, after I gave my talk, CPD also invited me to give a talk, okay, to their sciences branch, okay, math and whatever. Okay, I shared them the same thing. Okay, all right. So, but we don't have a computing curriculum. So, and in my mind, I always believe that if we put good people into something, okay, and let them do the work, over time, they will do great work. But if we never start, then all these people have no chance to do it. Okay? So this is the problem that I faced. Okay? That's why the theme for today is this. Okay? So I encourage you to look at this, and maybe later on I won't play the video, but it's actually a nice video to watch, okay, to see. Okay? But I do want to show for the many teachers, okay, whom I've never not met before. I'm glad I'm seeing more teachers. Okay, all right. I want to show you this one. These are old slides. I apologize, as I said. I didn't mean to show. I wanted to only show that 2 slides. Right? Okay, all right. I thought I would do it. How do we? What's the progression for learning and teaching? Okay, all right. And learning and teaching. We first get awareness first, then we learn through experience, through practice. Then as our skill level go up, we gain knowledge and we gain skill, and over time we gain expertise. Okay, so in teaching learning, we get the student to start doing some stuff. Okay, all right, and as teachers later on, we might share with a teacher. And sort of master teacher is here you are beginning teacher, senior teacher, maybe at this point you are master teacher, maybe Singapore's method of thing, and at that point you become somebody who stays in ASD and develop curriculum and so on. Okay, so in this progression, unfortunately, we have good progression in math and science and all these other subjects, but in computing, unfortunately, we don't. We don't quite have people okay, so we cannot continue to have CT being stuck in the first 2 rounds of this progression ladder, right? So we need to move up. we need to move on. That's my okay, raring core. Okay, so resources. So last year we talked about resources. We talked about various things. Okay, here's an example of how we mentioned. Okay, all right, we attend talks. Okay, and we heard about it. Courses. We develop teaching material and all that. Okay, so it's and teaching and learning these are things. See, I also see this. Or today I thought I was wearing a Python, but if I wear a Python shirt in Python, for example, there are a lot of this. Okay? And then you learn Python, you become good at it, then you start giving talks at some point you start giving talks at Python conferences and all that. That's the scale. How people learn. But in computing, we don't have. Okay, so all of these things we have in math, in the sciences, in history, and so on. So when I visited AST, I see, these are all these okay, great teachers in all the other disciplines. Okay, but computing is seriously lacking. Okay, all right. So we don't have this. Okay, these things. Okay, not much. Okay, all right. So in Singapore, we still have a severe lack of curated, recognized course and training. Curated meaning that we don't want it to be some vendor coming in and just teaching you. Okay, computing. They are not teachers. They have not gone through pedagogical training and all that. Okay? They may, okay, at the end, they taught you something and they're able to produce something. Okay, all right. And may not be also age appropriate. Okay, but of course, this is chicken and egg problem. At what point is it and you don't have a curriculum? That's why the UK is very important. We have all these 500 lessons, but they are packed to the curriculum so that we know which year. Okay, all right. Okay, so at the moment, okay, commercial vendors somehow have become the SOH, it is not the SOP, okay, it's SOH, because they become the source of help, because when you don't have any help at all, okay, at one point, our teacher training was almost, okay, sent to the vendor. Because nobody teach. Okay? Well, we got one vendor that turned out to be very good. The vendor's CEO is called Professor Ben Leong. That might ring a bell with some of you, right? Professor Ben Leong, my colleague, is not, his task at MOE is not to go and do teacher training and do conversion. His task was to develop software for MOE, right? To hopefully get you all to have less phobia over the computer system needed to do all the mark and all that thing, right? But out of no choice, he have to do this, okay? Until he cannot do it anymore. So he said, bye-bye, I've done enough, okay, please hand over. And it's difficult to find somebody else to take over. So this is the situation in Singapore. Let's look at what is in, okay? Okay, I'm going to skip this slide, okay? Let's look at, this was the talk, in fact, this was the talk I gave. Okay, now it should be 6, because this was from last year. Okay, so I give one talk. Okay, all right. In the school computing, in that little room, okay, called Cerebro, and right after that, I was asked to give the similar talk at CPDD. Okay, I went over to CPD and gave a talk. Okay, all right. Okay, all right, and there I shared. Okay, so UK have 4 key stages. Okay, all right. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and partly the years and things like that. I think UK also run a 13-year, including K, okay, kindergarten. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3 until 13 because they have okay, all right. Okay. All right. So I gave this talk. I told them, this is the slide I wanted to show you. This is the slide I want to show you. Okay. All right. You just look at you see like regional centers. So there are many regional centers in the UK. So you look at that map and say, oh, wherever you are in the UK, there is a training center, okay, that is nearby to you. And you can take courses. I think it was 6 courses, certified courses, you will become a certified teacher. Of course, maybe not 6 of your own choice, but 6 in some systematic way. Okay. But the point is that okay, in Singapore, we don't even have one. Okay, because we don't even have one. Okay, but here we have, okay, there are 6. Okay, and these were all things that Sue Sentence and Mouseberry told me when I asked them about this. Okay, all right. So, okay, help, support, training, certification, okay, are available. Okay, and all these universities, and you don't take it all from the same university. Okay, different courses in different places. Okay? The aim is to make it easy to access for the teachers. Okay, so that okay, and London has a huge number because London being okay, the capital and a big city. Okay, all right. Then they also have other things: community at school. Okay, computing at school. Okay, and then they also have one for the very young kid. Okay, barefoot computing. So they created all these. Okay? So you see, the trouble is in Singapore, if we start this computing at school and then barefoot computing, we end up seeing the same people and everybody get overworked. Okay, so that may or may not be very good. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that we need to get started. Okay, all right. So this is a very core. Okay, so I will not. I think I will not bring back some of these old stories, lah. Okay, all right. Okay. But today I'm hoping that the way forward to get computing to go up one level, okay, is to bring in and to recognize some of our computing teacher leaders, okay, as a master teacher, as a first step. I'm not meant to end there, so that they can rightfully devote more time to help other teachers and it be counted in as part of their teaching load and not say you can do this, but please on your own time and you still do the full curriculum. Because back in 2016, when I was at CPDD, I asked this question. We need computing teachers. Are you going to send teachers to a training? Can you give them leave? That was a no-no. Okay, so you can attend, okay, but you still have to do the work. Okay, so this was very hard. Okay, so but with maybe recognition as master teachers and so on, maybe some of these they can do, okay, rightfully as part of the duty. Just like what that math teacher did, okay, when she invited me to the talk and gave this, right? And we did okay, some of these activities. Okay, so that is okay. I don't have unfortunately I don't have time to prepare, but those were the two things that I think feel, because I went back to look at the last year's one, and then I said, is it still relevant? And the answer is yes, it is still relevant. Those things that we asked, the issue have not been solved. And so I see one way forward is to recognize some of our, okay, I won't name names, okay, all right, but I think we have some of the senior teachers who are acting as a role of a master teacher already, like it or not. They are telling people these are good resources. They're also telling people stuff like this, but they're not recognized as such. Okay, all right. So that is my rallying call, and I hope more people will indeed recommend other teachers to apply. Okay, and maybe we can move forward just a little bit more. Okay, all right. Sorry to waste all the time. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah. I can. Yeah,
Thanks for sending. Okay. Prof. Young mentioned that this is running for the third time, right? And we also said that, yeah. Okay. And I'm happy that School of Computing could take the thankful to the whole organizing team, to all of you for making it, and also to key people in the organizing team, Mr. Gee, Chili, in the background, Wendy, right, Mr. Rizwan. They've all worked with us, with Peter, with me, with Prof. Young to make this event happen. By the way, we don't have any official agenda given to us by our universities or something to do these things. It's just enthusiasts for computational thinking. Some are professors, some are research staff, and so on. Right? So we will be there for you in case any resources needed and so on. I think I hope all the speakers gave you a lot of insights. A couple of things maybe if you noted, whether it was, I think David spoke, and then Angad, and then Wendy too. We talked about visual thinking. So easy to read. And so visual thinking is in literature is a puzzle piece which is getting plugged into computational thinking, the pattern recognition, the algorithm thinking, or decomposition and abstraction, all that is good. We have used it, but now we have more things coming into the computational thinking skill set, and visual thinking definitely is going to play a part. And other thing which I noticed in the talks is that all these years we borrowed from other fields as computer science. We said physics has given us this, engineering has given us this, math has given, so on. But then I now hear that we seem to be coming to a point where we are giving back. I think Anga spoke about, how he used computational thinking to do architectural modeling stuff, right? So I think this interrelation of these disciplines is becoming more important. And then when we also said, art, we need more art teachers to take up this. It's a very interesting time, very exciting time, and good to see all of you once again here at this fest. We'll again see you next year, 2023, and hopefully in person and in a bigger group. And then look out for the CTFest for students. Thanking Google also for giving us this grant. I have a couple of more things to share. I think we saw some of it in the next room, which is advanced computing for executives. So we have this training arm with SOC, which runs many courses. They are pretty subsidized. If you go to a few slides later, you can see. So just stop in the previous slide. Yeah, so of course we customize for government agencies and other clients, but if you see in the middle, we have for ICT professionals, and you all are definitely you can find something there if you want. Yeah, a few more. Yeah, so there's a lot of funding which is coming from SSG and others, which all of you can take note of. And there are brochures here which you can pick up. So I'm not here to market this training course. What is interesting here is the director of the center is interested in talking to MOE or schools to customize professional certification for teachers. If there's any interest, or if you find that, you can reach out, and they will also be reaching out to you. But individually, if you want a course on programming or AI or something, I think this is something you might do. This is another resource. Okay. One more thing is that we have a new building. We are housed in School of Computing is housed in 4 buildings: AS6, Form 1, Form 2, and the new building is Form 3, which is going to be launched later this month, September, 16th September. We have, but since you are here, and if you want to have a tour of the building, you're most welcome, and we'll have some tour guides for you. Students, if you're interested, just approach Mr. G and he will facilitate that with the tour guides. Have a look, spend some time with us, and feel free to come back. Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay, feedback form, just highlight real quick, okay? So please give us some feedback. It's only 2